Okay, so Piggy Book 2 Chapter 7 is now officially out. You've had a chance to play through it, and as you probably have realized, there's a lot of new lore in the chapter and a lot of new secrets, and also one of the weirdest Easter eggs ever inside of Piggy. If you don't know, hidden around the map, there are 5 eyes of insolence, and if you click on them, they actually disappear. Once you click on all 5 of them, it actually activates one of the weirdest Easter eggs ever seen before in the game. There's a door you can go up to, and if you actually click on it, it will actually knock on the door, and then this little shadow friend, that's what I'm going to call it. It doesn't have an official name. I'm just going to call it the shadow friend. He'll actually pop out of the door, and then he's going to crawl on the ground really fast until he catches you or somebody else. He's going to oof you, and then he's just going to randomly disappear. Now, as far as I know, this little shadow friend, he doesn't do anything in the map. He just kind of attacks you. There's no secret you can, drag him to or move him to on the map. He's just there. He attacks someone and then he disappears. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down exactly what in the world this is and how it actually ties into the bigger Piggy story, and how exactly this guy relates to this guy, Mr. Stitchy, because it's all connected. As always, just like we do with all the new Piggy updates, we're going to be giving out some Roblox codes to celebrate the new chapter, celebrate a lot of new updates. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button down below and then type your Roblox name down there in the comment section with it. I'm going to be giving out some Roblox codes to a few of you guys who are subscribed, so go ahead and do that, and let's hop into this video. So real quick, let's give a quick refresher on the Eyes of Insolence. So the Eyes of Insolence first popped up in Chapter 4 of Book 2, and they have increasingly popped up more and more as the chapters have went on. Now, as of right now, we don't exactly know what they are, but we actually have an idea that they're actually tied to this character here, Mr. Stitchy. So the idea is, back when Mr. Stitchy first came into the game, way back in the Halloween update of 2020, along with, Mr. Stitchy, came a lot of new notes into the game. Here's an example of one of the notes that was added alongside Mr. Stitchy, and even though you can't find Mr. Stitchy in the game anymore, you can still go around the map and find these notes. For example, this note right here is actually in the end of Chapter 5 in Book 1. If you go in the school and right at the end, the end of the map, if you tilt your camera, you can actually see this note right here on the ground, and it says, I gave him a face. He was my only friend. Or I gave him a face. I was his only friend. It doesn't matter. My point is that those notes are still in the game, which means that Mr. Stitchy is canon to the story. This guy is out there and he exists somehow. And then a few chapters later, a few updates later, these little Eyes of Insolence started popping up all over the maps in our chapters. And if you look closely at the Eye of Insolence, it looks very similar to Mr. Stitchy's eye, that little eye right there. So my current hypothesis, my current theory is that the Eyes of Insolence is tied to Mr. Stitchy. Now, the other thing we know about the Eyes of Insolence is it has to do with some sort of like weird cult and like ghost stuff, maybe. If you go to Chapter 5 and you go to the sewers and you go to the back of the classroom downstairs in the sewers map, you'll actually hear a bunch of whispering near the Eyes of Insolence. Anytime you get near one of these things, you'll hear a bunch of like ghostly whispers. Again, we don't know exactly what's going on there. It's just, we have our theories. And then that brings us to this chapter right here, Chapter 7, the first map where you can actually go around and click on the Eyes of Insolence, and they actually do something. They disappear. And then once you click on all 5 of them, you can actually knock on this random door. And when you knock on the door, this little shadow dude comes out and attacks you. Now, the other thing of interest that I should point out is Mr. Stitchy actually has a note on this map. If you go to the top of the lighthouse and look right underneath the railing, there's actually a note from Mr. Stitchy. We know this is a Mr. Stitchy note because it's the exact same style as all the other Mr. Stitchy notes, and only the Mr. Stitchy notes are this brown, crumpled, grungy color. So that if you ever see a note that looks like this, it's a Mr. Stitchy note. Anyway, it says, how far would you go for your safety, good friend? How about we make a deal? Now, we don't really know exactly who that note was talking to or talking about, but being that the shadow friend is the only other character on the map, I'm gonna assume that that's the friend, that's the guy that, the note is referring to. And my current theory is that this little shadow friend actually used to be somebody on the map. It actually used to be a real person, and then he made this deal with Mr. Stitchy. We don't know exactly what, and in order to protect him, Mr. Stitchy turned him into this monster. It's kind of a situation of, oh yeah, I'll protect you. I'll make sure you never get infected. Oh, that sounds great. What are you gonna do to me? Oh, I'm gonna turn you into a monster. You're like, oh, wait a second. Too late. You're already a monster, right? No, the reason why I say that, and shout out to Discussing Piggy over on Twitter for this image right here. But as you can see, this shadow friend and of course Mr. Stitchy, they have the exact same head and the exact same body. Like literally, the shadow friend on the map is the exact same body as Mr. Stitchy, except the legs are gone. The legs are missing. If you add the legs, there it is. It's the exact same body. Now, if you add the mask to Mr. Stitchy, you get the exact same, well, you get Mr. Stitchy. So it would seem that this shadow friend is just Mr. Stitchy without the mask. I mean, look, it's pretty cut and dry. That looks very similar right there. Now, all this does lead me back to this note here, which is all the way back in chapter 5 that talks about lighting the beacon. This isn't the first time we've heard about a beacon in the story, especially in the, this is a Mr. Stitchy note. You can tell by the grungy, the grungy texture here. Something related to Mr. Stitchy wants to light the beacon. Honestly, all of this is so confusing. Like, you have this weird teleporting Mr. Stitchy monster. You have this weird slime dude that's coming out of like this door randomly, like after you knock on it, like what? And then something talks about summoning it and lighting the beacon. Like, what is going on? Like, this is a story about saving Zizzy and finding a cure, and then now we're talking about lighting a beacon and summoning some monster. Like, this is a lot. Honestly, I expect we're gonna learn a lot more about it in chapter 8, the boat. I imagine downstairs in the boat we're gonna get like some more eyes of insolence. We're probably gonna get some more to the story. Maybe we'll find some more of these little shadow friends roaming around. Like, I have so many theories about this, but the problem is right now there's not a lot of evidence to support any of it. Like, most of my theories have a little bit of evidence, to support it. Like the fact that Ghosty may in fact be Grandpa Piggy, right? I've already been over that. I'm not gonna go over that again. But there's evidence to support that. We literally don't really have that much with the eyes of insolence right now, other than they're related to Mr. Stitchy and that they have something to do with whispering, ghostly whispering. That's literally all we know. So it's hard to say, a concrete theory right now. I want you guys, though, to let me know what you think about all this down in the comment section below. Who is this guy? Is he something important? Is he someone important? What's going on? Is he related to Mr. Stitchy? Is he Mr. Stitchy? It's all so weird, and I guess we'll have to wait till the next chapter to fully figure it out. I'm going to be reading through all your comments down below, though. Make sure to subscribe, keep using the star code Real Creek, and I'll see you guys later today for a brand new video. Bye!